and the vice presidents, and maybe I missed out, Dr. Pamela Mills, Ukruma Mills, the president, and Dr. Deborah, the vice president. If you would want to know the secret, these two gentlemen came to my house unannounced and captured me. They insisted that yes, it would be nice for me to come, and they also came with something very nice. And I want on your behalf to say thank you very much to them, taking the trouble, the short preparation for that. Very grateful. Vice President of the positions is listed. Then we make a reference to the all deans and vice deans, the range of medical schools in the country at the moment. Let us not forget the first president, Yabji Ewusoma of this college, nor the first rector, Paul Yami, the Director General of Ground Health Services, and of the Minister of Defense. Diego was mentioned. If any members of the press are here present, we acknowledge them. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. This is a rare honor, and I must thank you, Professor Tujamfi, and the chairman for adding pepper and salt to the giveaway which Professor Tujamfi has provided. And I must thank you for coming, because I thought you would come. The notice I had was not very long, otherwise I would have collected a few more things on this. The lecture is an honor of an iconic, brilliant but respectful, articulate yet silent, inspirational and engaging cohort of beautiful and handsome young women and men. Observe the way we mentioned first, because it's not a mistake. Whose feet were the first to walk in the disjointed corridors of the fledgling Ghana Medical School. Here are examples of what one had in mind, talking about beauty of the young women and men. I intend to divide this lecture into the following parts: the beginning, the present, and the future. The beginning is restricted to the first group of medical students in Ghana Medical School, as Dr. DT said, not so much the beginning, but you exit when you show that the job has been done. The present is the end of your 50th anniversary, which I believe is today, I'm not quite sure. In other words, the second part covers 50 years. The first part covers 7 years. The third part is the duration which is unknown because it extends to infinity, and who knows. That being so, I need some instruments. The instruments for measuring these spaces. The first one only being counted on the finger, second one half a century, the third infinity. The principles of tertiary medical education. The second is a practice of policy management, medical education. The third is an international team which has been assembled, armed and ready to face the future. If not aware of this international team, you've lost the way. But the future is so different from what you know now. Tools to deal with them are not what you are now accustomed to. So, unfortunately, I wanted the lecture very much to be evidence-based, but I'm afraid some of the evidence is lost. As the waters of the times of Noah And not only to abstract, but a sum of the evidence. Concerning some of earlier lecturers, still lecturers of the school. Therefore, I decided to abandon research as an exercise in uncertainty. The 50th anniversary of graduation of first batch of any doctors or of any graduate for that matter is a golden opportunity. I hear that in your case, the Ghana Medical School celebrated the beginning rather than the end of their business. The planning process is a hallowed one. The guests include not only local instructors, such as Q&I, demonstrators, lecturers, lecturers, professors, and so on, but also the students, but also, excuse me a second, but also Renatus has confirmed that we should have some external examiners. That is, external examiners included people such as Sir John Bruce from the UK, and also Sir Ian Donald from Glasgow. I had a good fortune that I passed across again when I was a student in Glasgow University, and Ian Donald, he wasn't Sir at that time, was a professor in obstetric gynecology. He recalled his experiences in Ghana. He was very friendly, so kind to Vivian, my late Vivian, my wife, and he did everything he can to draw me to become a gynecologist. I'm never so sure what my life would have been if I'd yielded. But something stopped me. And even though he offered me every opportunity, was introducing ultrasound in OB-GYN at that time, and went further and further to be known in that specialty. I didn't have a chance to work with him until I went into general surgery, took it out from there. I'd like us to have an intermediate course of management. The pen name, the long, I don't know the dead, not the memory, or nor the institution for when they care. Help of all of us, therefore, let us thank in the usual way Sir John Bruce, Sir Ian Donald. Now, this is very important. At the beginning, at the fledgling university, medical training, we're not even sure where you were. We're not sure the place that they belong, or you were homeless. But the provider, that government, that is the University of Ghana, made sure that if they had example of good practice in education, therefore they made sure that they provided for you an external examiner to review the processes. Therefore, let's not take for granted the excellence of the planning process, even though you have to go at the dark way, by having to wait the whole thing, with 2 years usually more than the others. The planners are good plans for you. They did good things for you, by insisting that the standard that you attained, what you did, was international quality. Let's be thankful for that. The provider, the Ghana Medical School, I mentioned, the standard examiners already mentioned already. Let me just go back for a minute to the students themselves. Right. Here they are. You were selected, as JT said earlier, from two streams. Part one enrolled the time specified, and part two is also in June. You were the cream of the cream of the cream. And that was a headache for the instructor. Being so bright, you'll be an idiot of an instructor who didn't take any extra care to prepare for this very special group of students. The impact on this concentration of brain power was felt like an unblinking laser beam of those who were lucky to be the instructors, such as I was. Thank you very much for that. I've therefore covered the ground that great care was taken, putting things together for you, and ensuring that the quality that you are attaining is excellent. Now, who were the bridge builders? Who were the administrators, instructors, and more? Now, this is a shortened roll call, and Sir Charles Ismond, founding dean, the chairman of surgery. Chikwe, I don't intend to mention everybody, just to a list that I can recall of the man in charge of anatomy, Kwashikwati. Now, Kwashikwati was a unique gentleman. I recall one day he came to find me doing surgery. At that time, I was senior registrar for Eastern. So, now one of you, he didn't wait for the response. He perceived that they were young one. He perceived that I needed help. So he just came over and said, oh, you went, they came up here. But with your shoes, it's the way I've done it. His presence alone was very helpful. Such were the men we're lucky to deal with. Biochemistry was mentioned already. Biology, although the Coastal Brothers, Billy, whose paths crossed again in Saudi, pharmacology, physiology, the registrar, and so on. The list continues here. ENT, medicine, we are down there somewhere, number 8. And this one was our boss, his name was there. And if you forgive me, I left a couple of names. It is not encyclopedically accurate. Now, the strategies which I'm going to use to assess your learning are these 7. I do not intend to go through all 7. I'll take only one, which you mentioned earlier, the student-instructor interaction. You have the student-content interaction, what you read yourselves, the student-student interaction, what you talk among yourselves, the student-self interaction when you're only with yourself. Then comes the evaluation time, reflection, recommendations, corrections, and the way forward. This is classic. It was used in the first 7 years. It's being used in the next 50 years. It's being used for many years to come. In your case, the student-instructor interaction was like this. As you mentioned earlier, there is this other proverb that if you are an adult and you choose to muck around with children, them if they pee on you from time to time. Or if you sit under a tree where there's so many birds, them if they rain things on top of your head. In my case, I took this chance, but the fear was unfounded. This group of young 3 women and men were unique. They came from good homes, self-respecting, that what they knew, even though I was close to them, yet they kept the distance between the instructor and the student. I have no idea what happened these days. I'll be very surprised that is still the case. Clap yourselves. Now the occasional joke. Here I was, as I say, whenever I was coming to class, I took no chances. I would write my notes, read them again, get up at dusk, revise them before I dared to appear before this class. I took the advice of Sir Winston Churchill when he said, prepare for a presentation as you would prepare for war. Then being so reasonably adequately armed, I appeared before this young group of, actually not frightening but intimidating group of young women and men. I'm dead serious. You have to prepare well for a group like this. All right. So when I wanted to revise the subject with them, I made sure that it was done the day before on day -1. So on day 1, our last questions, which I was sure I got the correct answer from. And I was equally choosy to ensure that I didn't embarrass the student who had given the wrong answer. So I asked, how do you classify breast cancer? How do you stage breast cancer? Mommy, and I said, and she got it wrong. She said, oh, I said, oh, mommy. She said, oh, papa. Over 50 years now, that has become my nickname. Whenever they see me, they say, oh, papa. Now, these are the attributes which help together this group of students. The nobility, the sheer industry. They knew that some of police had gone away, already qualified and came back, or whatever. They ran 2 years time schedule, therefore they must cut them out. Therefore they had to work. Their respect for the sake. They communicated very well, they articulated communication skills. And I'll come back to communication skills when I talk about the future. And they were brave. Bravery is something to demonstrate. The year was 1970. There was an outbreak of cholera. The big center was at the place where totally unpronounceable name called Aplabanya. It's near Adam. And the first doctors were called JTN name Dungeon. Please stand and see without saying, why me? Why me are we sent to this on this dangerous mission? They heard and obeyed. They went, they saw, and of course, thank you. So, oh mommy, with that expression of the bravery of the group, I now move on to the part 2, hence part 1, the part 2 of this lecture. In part 2, I told you I'm going to use an instrument which is universally used. We're going to use to measure the span over 50 years. And I just want to describe you just when you do something, as you know, the one who assesses you and approves or tells you you're doing a good job is a customer. So the customer satisfaction survey, I'm going to share with you a result of this thing now. I've finished the first part. I'm now on the second part here, before I tackle the third part. Grown-ups like numbers. When you are in an institution which does not like numbers, everything must be descriptive, you are more children. Because grown-ups like numbers. So, the customer satisfaction survey of the professional attributes of specialists was used. And the results and lessons learned are what we are about to share right now. It was a 5-point scale. Excellent is 5, and fair is 1. 5 areas were used to the attributes explored. We used communication skills, cognitive and analytic skills, personal attributes at work, management skills, thorough and competent. This was tested. I guarantee you, if you do this for the last 50 years of this country, you demonstrate a change in what I'm going to show you now, it will be very interesting to find out. Let's see what the results showed. I'm suggesting and urging you individually and collectively to dare to measure the excellence of your products by this tool. The analysis included statistical skills, logical thinking, simple computer skills, presentation skills, professional speaking, writing, awareness of their own weakness and strength, creativity, adaptability, desire for the job training, self-reliance or interdependence, understanding professional and ethical responsibilities, self-reliance and also independence. It was rated like this. If you got 8% or more, it was excellent performance, the color green. Anything below 80 and up to 60 is acceptable. Below 60 is red card. Let's see what some of the results are. If we were to do this study now, in any of the hospitals where you're practicing, I wonder if the overall competence, clinical competence, would be anywhere near 75%. Remember that the target is 80%, so it was short of 80%. Those who are serving, they were telling you, where do I take the sample? 5 years after they qualified, 10 years, 5 years ago. If you can improve on that number, you're doing well. Bear this number in mind. Then, areas of strength were these. Those who were evaluated said that, oh, they are good in the personal skills. The logical thinking was good. They speak great English, and they learn to work in teams. Each of these attributes attained were over the desired 80%. But look, the areas of weakness. Attendance at meetings and places and gatherings was poor. Leadership was poor. The kinds of problems, they were always late. Punctuality was something else. Self-confidence, doubtful. Time management, poor. Documentation, terrible. They can't keep good medical records. They cannot keep adequate records of anything. And it was like that. After 5 years when disqualified, it was like that. 5 years after that, 10 years ago, it's still like that. And this is the kind of training we are offering our people now. Bear that in mind. The grades assigned range from 50 to 58. Now, when you ask people to talk, and talk about the weakest points of vision already, punctuality, time management, documentation, then when they talked about the conclusions that of the survey, we strengthen the points again, so I'll not go over that again, but I'm anxious to come to this one. The qualitative statements made. You want the assessor to put in their own words what you think you need to do. And they said we need more investment in technology. We need more investment in infrastructure and equipment. We need access to online resources and other basics. Who among you here will say this is not correct? Then, the next statement to that, now this is where they were getting a little bit the negative side of things. Many of the specialists are more committed to private practice than the official duties in hospitals. You need to cross-examine yourselves as to whether this is true or false. If it's true, is it acceptable? If it's not, is it mendable? Or is that a new norm? Then something worse is to come. Probably it's not necessary to exaggerate that we're not very happy by the way some of the seniors were behaving. I've therefore finished talking about the first two points of this presentation. I've talked about the principles of tertiary education, the practice of quality management. Now come to the international team assembled, armed, ready to face the future. I'm going to show you the example of a woman, a Ghanaian, who, like you, has shown the way. The future, where we're heading now. You all have been to London before. You've heard the expression, all change, all change, all change. In tube stations, we've reached a level of all change. Things are changing. It's assumed that your clinical skills will be satisfactory. It's assumed that you know how to look at the patients when they need operation. How to get the hernias fixed or the thyroids mended. But this is what this one has done. A group has come up who gave a prize, Professor Isabella Kwache, a recipient of the Clara Southmount Lemon Award of the American Society of Tropical Medicine, Nigeria. It was a recent event. A female scientist who is an icon in research in tropical medicine, conferred on her at the time specified, a place also specified, Washington, D.C. And so it can be done. No nation can do it alone. There is a group now called the International Medical Education Leaders Forum. I repeat, International Medical Education Leaders Forum. If you want to know what's going on out there, look out for this group. A link with there, so you know what's happening on the national scene. The topics that they addressed, see how they are now the sort of the Davos equivalent in medical education, with unprecedented caliber of speakers and attendees. The ways of inequality can kill, they are saying, a formula for how to practice social medicine and bring social accountability back into medical school curriculum is being now praised. And folks, take note about this. You are now in community medicine in a big way. You belong to that league because this is one of the targets they are placing on, not hernias and ingrown toenails. They are continuing the proliferation of health apps on the market, how the massive data could be leveraged for training research purposes in medicine. So if you are in any way, I'm sure the director is here, involved in training, or change, reset the button. Otherwise, you belong to the 18th century. Social accountability in an era of fiscal restraint. You're not alone when you say that you are broke, and yet you must be seen to be taking account and care of those who are less well endowed. And poverty and structural violence also is being addressed. Why? Because all change. The 7 mental competencies they are addressing include respect. I mentioned that before. They also are in favor of that. History, culture, privilege, important health determinants. They run reflective narratives, see the invisible and get the real story, learn structural inequity and analytic skills, know the difference between social, structural, and political determinants of health. The emphasis is changing. They are continuing to say that the other structural methods, clinical experiences with the marginalized population, teach students how to reflect on what's happened and the experience of those involved. The fire breaks out in Galo, but there's a flood in Adampo. You are sent there to rescue, you walk away, bury the dead, you're totally unconcerned. Because as you're not thinking about those who are involved. The request from this group now is that train the student to think differently as human beings. Teach advocacy and activism. Teach young adults how to talk out to decision makers such as parliamentarians and public health officials and speak up on behalf of the vulnerable and the dispossessed. No nation can do it alone. This is the picture of that group. And that brings me to the end of my lecture.
Thank you, Malik. After a lecture of this nature, not only the content, but the poetic delivery is charming. And I'm sure that as product of our handiwork, you will have a lot of challenges for it. So the floor is now open for any questions, comments, or other submissions. Yes, please, you mention your name and then.
My name is Ken Ofusuba. Thank you very much, Professor Nadosu, and also congratulations to the first group of doctors. I wasn't sure whether I was listening to a surgeon or a public health specialist. But thank you very much. On medical education, one of the significant things that we tend not to mention is that our first crop of physicians were trained wholly. The training was wholly financed by the Republic of Ghana, by the Ghana government. They were trained, their training was financed by the Ghana government. There's an evolving trend that bothers me. Now our funding of medical education seems to be shifting. And it looks like because of the lack of funding, even though our medical school was established to train the nurses, now the proportion of Ghanaian students and foreign students seems to be shifting. Would you want to comment about that and the danger it poses to us? Thank you.
It is all change. About, it is more than 50 years ago in the United States of America, when it was found that the influx of new institutions, tertiary institutions, was diluting the quality of education. You may not recall that, but I recall it very well. So they set up what is called they selected the schools of that excellence. The so-called, they have a name given to them, that's how the Ivy League was established, because they must preserve the standard because of the invasion of money-driven processes. The invasion of money-driven processes, it means that you can do artwork, you can do hairdressing, you can do probably inroad to the hairdressing, and then you be admitted to a medical school, even though you have not qualified at all anywhere near that. All you have to do is show up, you got your marks. Show up, you got your grades. Because they want numbers go to the system. Look, how can this be changed? Are you not aware of this? How can it be changed? But that's the question. When you try to change it, you are interfering with somebody's daily bread. And the students are very happy to go to certain places and to graduate and come to you that I'm a doctor, this one's a certificate, employ me. The government is doing its best, as far as I know, maintaining the medical school. I hear the department of the research, and that the medical school be re-harvested, recollected back to its roots. It's like they've gone on to a different country. They have been dispersed. Now they're coming back home. And I'm looking forward to that. And the medical school, one more time, be the medical school, being in charge of pathology, microbiology, and not to that would be lovely. Three things I've said therefore. Things have changed in the country. Can you change them back? I don't know. At the other end, the medical school, things are changing. The pattern has been repressed, I understand. And therefore the school is recruiting as a center of gravity for medical education. Thank you very much. Well,
Thank you. Are you all right for the answer? You follow the philosophy. Yes. What's that?
I qualified 10 years after the first batch in 1979. And we have just celebrated our 40th anniversary. We were the last group that the speaker taught at the University of Ghana just before he left for Zambia. And I always get asked why I dress the way I dress. And I think today I will place it squarely on the laps of our lecturer. The first time he entered surgical to the students' demonstration room, there were about 12 of us. I happened to be the only person who had a tie. I soon as he entered, he said, there's only one doctor at this class. I don't know where the rest of you have come from. Because even your classmates who did not do very well and work in the banks, always dressed well. The following morning, he entered and all of us were in town. And as soon as he entered, he said, full marks. And the day started. I think for the brief period that we had with this man, he changed everything. His first lecture, what he said was that it was an accident of death that he happens to be on the other side and we are on the other side. And that it could easily have changed. He, on that side, sorry. He, on our side, and one of us on the other side. That is Professor Wadewson. And I've always been very grateful to at least the relationship that I have with him. The lecture today is almost like what is happening in the whole world. The disruptors everywhere. Yes. I just had an encounter with medical educators in Arizona State University. And they, and what they have done is that the medical school has completely changed its form. Yes. And they call it the Institute of Health Solutions. And it doesn't matter who is helpful in finding solutions. So political scientists, social scientists are as much a part of the medical school as pathologists and anatomists and physiologists and all. And I think that answers some of the futures, the futuristic aspect of the lecture. I think we as a country are still too conservative. We're stuck in the ways the medical school started and we're not prepared to change. But my greatest challenge is the fact that as medical schools, we do not seem to be responding to the needs of the country. So there is a real dissociation of the needs, the health needs of the country and what medical educators continue to do. Unfortunately, I see one thing here. Two, yeah. Where is it? My brother. Oh, that's it. No, I was trying to look for her. And I just want to challenge them to begin to look at the practicality of medicine in the future. Things are changing and changing so dramatically. But I just want to end by just asking one question. I like what JT said, that 69 should be the reference point, because that is when the experience had really succeeded. So that is really the core point. But I also want to say, 50 years thereafter, it isn't the Ghana College that should be organizing this. It is the medical school and the University of Ghana. And if they have not done it, then they have reneged on their responsibility. And I know the dean is here. The easiest thing would have been to say all graduates of University of Ghana Medical School were hosting the pioneers for lunch. 100 cedis, 200 cedis, and we would have done it. Somehow, it is said that a country that does not honor its heroes is certainly not dying for. We've all gone to the medical school. 40th anniversary, my class has made a donation of 30,000 cedis to the medical school. It should not only be receiving. sometimes take the initiative and excite, who would not want to meet or sit and have lunch or dinner with the pioneers? And I'm sure something like that still must be done. I'm not taking them out of the loop at all. We should not say that because 2019 is gone, the 50th anniversary. No. The medical school, and indeed the University of Ghana, has a responsibility. And we would hold them to it, because some of us, as graduates of the school, feel rather sad that we should come into this small zero room to celebrate pioneers of the University of Ghana Medical School. Thank you.
Now, that is into a secret. It says that when you take the trouble to prepare for a lecture, such as I did, if you read my original script, what you just said is in it. But, now here comes the instruction from elsewhere. Leave out some parts and leave out the parts which really are the things we're supposed to think about and do something about. And somebody of authority would always mention it also. Thank you very much indeed. And I'll guarantee you, read my script, you find it there. And I'll say that the preparation for this thing is a hallowed process. But look at us. This 4x4. Anyway, maybe someday, as you said, maybe they'll do it going forward, probably. And to be more, shall we say, more befitting in the view, in humble view of some of us, please. Thank you very much.
With your permission, I just want to make a comment.
You don't have permission.
With your permission. There's a saying that is dear to me. It says that when I get discouraged, I go and look at the stone crack, hawking away at this rock perhaps 100 times without the crack showing. Yet at the 105th blow, it was split into two. And I know it wasn't that blow that did it. I just stood up to speak, just to acknowledge the point that you made, and also to put on record that the Dean of the Medical School, for the last 1 year, has been working very frantically with some of us to raise funds and organize a banquet to honor the first one. She's been doing that very silently. And I'm only going to mention it back for the fact that we've had one roadblock after another. But we haven't given precisely for the fact that even if it takes 5 years, we must honor our first one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I didn't know that the dean had a lawyer defend me. Yes, but the dean, you are here. And I don't think everybody here agrees with the point that I put that standpoint. That the medical school has a responsibility to organize for you. Standing here in May 25th or something, in Aberdeen, my group is organizing a Diamond Jubilee anniversary meeting. And it's a group which is organizing. At 90 years, I can't go. But I thought if the dean is here, I think the dean can speak, and any other person who has any view on this topic because I've been discussing it with JT and him, what is it? Dr. Chia. That is true. That